Welcome to the Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and I'm here as almost always, I should say, with my co-host, Evie Barr.
Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Evie. And you just got back from sunny Scottsdale.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was out last week because I was traveling for our annual conference, and Waterstone is such an awesome culture to be a part of, is the best way to say it. One of the most exciting things we found out at the conference was in 2016, we had done $2.5 billion in production.
Oh, wow.
So what that means is Waterstone Mortgage helped fund $2.5 billion mortgage loans throughout the country. Not a lot of people in the Evansville market realize that we are truly a national company. So at the conference, I was learning things from people in Irvine, California, or Houston, Texas, or up near Chicago, or even out in, I believe it was New Hampshire, somewhere in the New England states. So we are truly across the country, which, with being such a large mortgage company, we are able to offer a wide range of programs.
Or range, whichever.
Or range, yeah. I'm out of practice from taking a week off, obviously. But a wide range of products for our buyers. And the one that I'll have more information on here in a couple of weeks is we finally came back with our construction program, which I am very excited about. Just waiting to get all the finalized details, and we'll talk about that in a few weeks.
You should have had that a couple weeks ago when we had Mike Greenwell on from
I know.
Greenwell Homes, where we could have hit it then. But Mike and all the other builders will soon, I guess, be able to take advantage of that.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. There were some changes in the mortgage industry, which I won't bore our listeners with, about a year and a half ago, give or take. And wherever those changes happened, Waterstone wanted to make sure that we had all of our documentation correct. So we took the construction loan program off the table, but like I said, I'll be discussing it back here in a couple of weeks. The other exciting thing is that I now have my own mobile app, which
Super.
I'll be sending to you shortly, but you're going to have a really cool little icon on your phone now with a picture of me on it. What more could you ask for?
What could you ask for? Can I make that my screen?
Sure.
Okay.
I would love
Super.
that. But the cool thing about this, it's basically an electronic business card. So if you have a client that you want to refer to me, you can send them the link directly from that app, and it's going to give my office number, my cell phone number, my email address. That buyer can apply online. They can upload documentation. They can calculate their own mortgage payments based on what mortgage program they're going with. So it's a neat thing that Waterstone Mortgage lenders were saying, hey, we want a mortgage app, and Waterstone Mortgage looked at the different ones that were out there, pieced it together, and came up with our own.
So I guess it sounds like, unlike what your regional boss told me on the phone the other day, you didn't just party the whole time in Scottsdale.
No,
you actually did some work. Okay.
We worked hard, Charlie. We always do.
Absolutely. There wasn't any time, but was the weather nice? Did you have a good time?
I jokingly told someone it was cold. It was 65, and whenever we sat out at the bar, they had to have the heaters turned on for us, and we were right by the pool, but we still had to have those heaters on.
And you were only sitting at the bar so you could order a Coke, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I just want to get that straight.
Actually,
then.
sweet tea.
Okay. Got it.
So while I was gone, what did I miss? What's going on in the market right now?
Well, the market. First off, Cheryl Musgrave was sitting in. Our county commissioner was sitting in for you. She did a great job talking about her new role as county commissioner, and also talking about assessments. But before I talk about the market, I did want to talk about one of the things on my mind before I forget.
Yes.
I saw, and you're the mortgage expert for our show, so there was a headline in the Courier the other day, and I just wanted to address this for the audience about the death of the 30-year mortgage. And I think it talked about, maybe the bond market, wasn't excited. Once you got into the article a little bit, it didn't sound like it was going away. It just didn't sound like that there may be, what it sounded like to me, there may not be as many fixed 30-year mortgages as there was in the past. What have you heard about that, or is there...
The 30-year mortgage is still alive and kicking. I don't see it going away anytime
30-year
soon.
fixed mortgage,
30-year
right.
fixed mortgage, yes. I don't see how the 30-year fixed mortgage could ever go away. Why would we flip to an adjustable? It's too high risk. It kind of fed into some of the issues we had a few years ago whenever the industry crashed because of the adjustable rates jumping up and people not being prepared for those payments.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think the investor that invests in these mortgages, it's also very high risk for him.
Yes.
For that company.
Yes.
So
definitely. And the industry had us put some guidelines in place to protect a buyer that is going into an adjustable rate, that now instead of, going off of what the initial adjustable rate is, which is probably going to be a lower rate, they have us look out to 5 years and how high that interest rate could be, what it could cause their payment to go up to. So that's in place to protect the consumer that is looking at an adjustable rate. But as of now, there's no way the 30-year fixed rate is going away. I know in our office, if you have someone that's been in a rental situation, it's always good to compare a 30-year rate or even a 20-year rate to what they're currently paying on their rent. And why we do that is if their rent payment is comparable to the total mortgage payment for 20 years, they might want to go to the shorter term to get a little bit better interest rate and to save on their loan over the life of the loan.
Well, and I'm a living proof of that, because back in a long time ago, I think 92, something like that, I buy the home we're still in, and it was at a great rate at 8 1/8,
yes,
which was a great rate at the time. And as things went on, I wound up refinancing it from a 30 to a 10-year with almost exactly the same payment.
Wow.
And paid. I think it got paid off in 17, 18 years.
Yes.
But it's because of being able to take advantage of that.
And a lot of people that I talk to, they have a set payment in mind that they want to have on their new home. So a lot of people off the bat say, let's do a 30-year rate because they want the lowest payment. But, oh man, the interest that you save over that 10-year difference is amazing.
If anybody ever looks at an amortization schedule, you at the start of the first, I forget how many years now, you could answer this better now, but it's all interest almost.
Yes.
And then I remember when we were getting to the end of ours, it completely flipped around. I mean, once I took it down that 10-year, I mean, it was just, the principal just, it just went fast.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes.
And
a rule of thumb used to be, and I haven't ran numbers on it with where rates are currently, but if you take your principal and interest only payment, divide it by 12 and just add that to your payment every month, it used to shave like 8 to 10 years off of your loan. So that's a real easy way to pay it off quicker.
And another way, someone from a title company tell me once, and I figured it does work. If you make one extra payment a year,
yes,
on your mortgage, I think it's right at 11 years.
Yes,
it takes it down to 19 years and something, I think, from a 30-year. So there's a few tips, but if you're interested in buying a home, first thing you want to do, first thing people do so many times, they call a realtor. It's the wrong thing to do. We want to talk to you. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean it's a wrong thing to do, but call Evie first, because if you're pre-approved, and we know, so many times we unfortunately disappoint people because and Chris Harney, who's going to join us in a minute, he can talk about this too. They're looking at $200,000 houses. So that's something they love, and we haven't done our job getting them pre-approved, and they can only buy $150,000. So please call Evie. And Evie, how can they get a hold of you?
People can reach me at 812-463-3199, or because it's Sunday, if they want to shoot me an email, they can send it to BARR at waterstonemortgage.com.
And remember, Evie will soon have, when's the mobile app coming out? Do you know?
The mobile app is up and running.
Okay.
I just need to get you a link to it.
So is that on iTunes?
No, it's not on iTunes. It's something that I will send directly to Charlie, and then Charlie can just pull up the app on his phone, and there's a button to click refer, and you can send that to all of your clients that you refer to me.
And speaking of that, Evie made me think, Keller Williams has a mobile app for all its agents, so you can go, I believe, to iTunes, Chris, can't you, and get that app. And for myself, Chris Harney, who's going to join us in a second. And I keep saying Chris, I guess I should introduce him, shouldn't I? But
he might appreciate that.
He probably would. So join as Evie and I's guest today from Keller Williams is Chris Harney. How you doing this morning, Chris?
Doing just fine, Charlie. Thanks for having me on your show, and good morning to all.
And one thing, first, Chris honestly is one of my favorite people. But besides that, Chris does a little. Evie and I sometimes talk too much about Vandenberg County and Warwick County, and because that's where the bulk of the business is. But there is still a lot of business in the outlying areas, and they probably don't like to be called outlying areas. So I apologize if I offended anybody. But Chris is licensed in Indiana and Kentucky. And Chris, you want to tell them a little bit about the areas that you work in mainly? Of course, you can work in Evansville and Newburgh like anybody else, but you've got a little different focus.
Sure, absolutely. I was licensed in Kentucky, or still licensed in Kentucky, for going on 13 years now. I've had my Indiana license for a little over a year. I kind of specialize, like you said, Charlie, in some of the outlying markets. I do a lot in Spencer County, Perry County as well. And, of course, with the Kentucky license, I have business in Owensboro as well, mainly.
I can remember, and I know it's not now, but I know it's still a very good economy. I can remember, it's been several years ago now, but Owensboro at one time had the highest per capita income in the state of Kentucky. I think it's a suburb of Lexington now. But so is Owensboro, as always, kind of people, I always look at Owensboro as being a really good market.
Yeah, Owensboro's traditionally been a strong market. I know when the market took a downturn, 2008, 2009, it seemed like the Owensboro market, compared to some of the surrounding markets, stayed more stable. And I think that may have a little bit to do with the strong manufacturing base that is in Owensboro. Mm-hmm. It seems like it does perform stronger even in a downturn.
Good. And so it stayed pretty good. And then you've also, but you do have, people who don't know Owensboro, you mentioned some of the manufacturing. What are some of the businesses that are there? I mean, some of the
largest employers in Owensboro, the hospital is actually, I believe, the largest employer in Owensboro.
That's a well-known hospital, I think. Well thought of hospital around the country.
Absolutely. And of course, when you're talking about hospitals, you have the hospital itself, the billing, the business offices. I mean, there's a lot that tags along with that. So the feeder to the hospital includes quite a few jobs.
Okay. Why? And I maybe ask you something here because I don't know the answer to this. I've always wondered this. You go to Owensboro and you see Chase Bank there. You see U.S. Bank. You see several national banks that are there. You don't see any of those in Evansville. Fifth Third, you don't really, just more of a very large regional. But why are the national banks? I'm curious. I've always wondered that.
I've wondered the same thing myself, and it becomes a problem when you're looking to bank in Owensboro and in southern Indiana.
Right.
There are very few banks that cross the border. And, I don't know the answer to that. I'm assuming that it has something to do with maybe regulations from one state to the other.
Could be.
Maybe there's additional cost of business from one state to the other. I'm not for sure. I've always wondered that myself. I know Old National is in both places. There are a few banks that reach both places, but that's always been something that I've always been curious about myself, and I do not know the answer to that.
And one good thing is Waterstone Mortgage can finance homes in Owensboro as well.
And anywhere in Kentucky, for that matter.
Yes.
And you're hearing this on the Charlie Butler Show as Bobby is staring a hole through me over here. Charlie Butler here with Evie Barr, who has been lounging in Scottsdale for a week, and Chris Harney. So, Chris, I think so many times, and, people think of Spencer County, like Rockport, Richland, areas like this, and they think of Perry County, like Tell City, as, well, there's just not much goes on there.
Yeah.
As far as, when I say it, real estate sales, I'm not talking about, what their social life is. I don't know. But, and that's just not true, is it?
No, I think from the inside, you fail to realize the outside perception, but it's far from the truth. There's a lot of activity that happens in Perry, Spencer counties, some of the less populated counties. Of course, Perry, Spencer both have industry within them. For instance, Rockport, Rio. You've got folks I get a lot of folks from Owensboro. The housing market in Owensboro has been tight. In the 100 to 200 price range, even I'll go as far to say the 70 to 200 price range. This summer, this spring, this fall, 2016, it was a tight market. And so what I found was a lot of people were looking at coming into Indiana that would have never thought so before. And, of course, Tell City the same way. Folks that were looking in the Hallsville, Lewisport type areas, the housing inventory was tight. And so, of course, there's more population, let's just say at Tell City for those folks. And it's just right across the bridge. And so we saw a migration of folks starting to kind of push into those areas just due to lack of housing.
And playing off of that, Chris, every area's got a sweet spot as far as the price, as far as what's selling best in that area, whether it be. So if people are listening in those counties now or in Owensboro that we're talking about, what are the areas you're really looking to list houses in right now that you think you can sell quickly?
Not so much the area necessarily. It's the price range that's really selling.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's the price range?
The price range that I'm seeing the strongest demand in, a good solid fixed up home, anywhere from 80 to, like I said, 200,000. That's pretty much the price range. Of course, you always get the folks that want the 2 to 3 acres, brick ranch house with a pole barn. That's always a popular property.
And that's 50,000, right? For that, right? Is that right?
That's where people want to be, but most of the time you're lucky to find it over under 150. But
do those price points do they go across the river as well? So you're needing those price points in Owensboro for listings, plus you're needing them in Spencer, Perry counties as well? Absolutely.
Certain price points are always in demand, and I think a lot of it has to do with the median household income.
Yes.
There are certain income levels that are more average than others, and so I think and for instance, that 100 to 200 price range, if you have 2 adults working, that'll support the upper end of that range, and with one person in the household working, you're looking probably the lower end on average of that price range, and so that's kind of the going range. So any property that's move-in ready and is of good condition, priced competitively, should expect to sell quickly, especially in today's market. In either, the Davis County area, Spencer or Perry, any of the outlying areas. there's always demand for housing, and just not the housing available to purchase necessarily.
Right. So are you still seeing, one thing that we talk about constantly is how low the Evansville, Newburgh market inventory is in our market right now. I know you were talking about last year it was tight. Do you feel like it's still just as tight as what it was last year?
I do feel like it's tight, just from the buyer demand that I've seen. There's not enough inventory to match the demand that I'm seeing. So, of course, traditionally we're in January right now, and so we're kind of at the bottom of the bell curve as far as in houses on the market. But that ramps up come spring, and but if it's of my opinion that now's a great time to list your property.
Absolutely. We talk about this all the time because right now everybody's waiting until spring. Buyers are still there. And the thing is, the buyers, people that listen every week, I'm sorry, I know you hear me talk about this every week. The buyers that are out there now, they're serious.
Absolutely.
It's usually, it may be cold weather, if it, whatever. They're not out to go look at paint colors.
Yeah.
They're out to buy a house. So if you're planning on being on the market in the spring, like so many people say they are, do it now. Because if you can do it now, because there are buyers there now, and that lead, Chris, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, okay?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So why these people in Perry and Spencer and Owensboro, why should they call you?
I've got 13 years of experience. I'm honest and truthful. I don't want to tell someone that I can sell a property that I can't sell.
Right.
And I want to give the best advice. My goal is always to sell a house as quick as possible and to net the seller's top dollar. And I fully believe that I'm the best person for the job to get that done. And like we're going back to now's the time to sell. People don't trance around in the cold. They don't bring their families out in the snow and the cold that's so cold it burns your face. These people are serious. They're looking now.
Darn right.
Once you hit spring, you've got all the competition as a seller. Now's the time, in my opinion, to put it on the market. And if you're in one of the outlying areas, I would definitely appreciate the call. We do a free market analysis for anybody that's considered selling of their property, and of course, we'd love to have your business. And
again, this is the Charlie Butler Show. We're here with my co-host Debbie Barr and our guest Chris Harney. And Chris, of course, anyone in Evansville or Newburgh or any of this area too. You're also working up here. We don't want to shut you out up here. But I want to talk about real quick. I think we're down to about 5 minutes left. But Evie, you don't know this, but Chris has got one of my favorite houses listed right now.
Really?
Yes. For those of you that go to Owensboro regularly and you go through Rio and go that way, for those that might go to the Moonlight or go to that beautiful riverfront that Owensboro's got, or
to Fetta's Pizza, which is my favorite over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You like that?
Oh, love it.
Everybody tells me about Catfish Willie's over there too. I hear that's really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby's giving a thumbs up to Catfish Willie's.
I'll give a thumbs up as well.
Okay. Me and my wife, we go to the Moonlight all the time. It's people see on Facebook. But anyway, there is a house right before you turn to Owensboro to go to Rio. It would be, or to go to Owensboro. It's on your right. You really can't see it as well going when you're coming back. It's got a fountain out front and it's got how big a pond is that out front of the lake?
It's over 2 acre lake.
2 acre lake, and beautiful house sitting back there. It's just the setting is super nice. But when Chris has recently listed it, and I didn't know everything. You want to talk about that house a little bit? Because I guarantee so many people have drove by and seen that house.
So is this on the Indiana side?
This is on the Indiana
side.
Okay.
This is right out of Rio.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I've always drove by that house and thought, what an awesome property.
My wife and I have said so many times we would love to live there.
You know what's funny, when you're in real estate, you kind of houses start to look the same after a while.
Yeah.
But there's always that one property that you drive by and you say, I would love to see this house. I would love to own that property. This is that property. The address is 868 North County Road 350 West in Rockport, but it's actually in Rio. It just has a Rockport address. But it's a house, sits off the road, has the paneled fencing, has a 2-acre lake in the front. The house sits on the rear of the property. Absolutely beautiful. You should see it in the spring. The way they mow the grass. I mean,
I've seen that.
It looks like, it looks from like a fairy tale or storybook, this property. I mean, it's just a property you look at and you're like, I would, love to have it. I mean, it's just one of those once in a lifetime properties.
Something I didn't know until you listed it. What's the acreage there? There's more acreage than I realized.
A little over 22 acres.
But they have, I think don't they have horses? Isn't that why
They do have horses. The property is equipped with automatic stainless steel watering system for horses.
Wow.
Of course, it has 2 run-in sheds and the paneled fencing with 2 separate pastures. It's set up and geared towards horses. But of course, you don't have to have horses in order to appreciate this property. It's absolutely stunning.
Is it all on the same parcel with the home?
It's
the
actually
stables and
it's all fenced in as one parcel, but there's actually 3 separate tracks with it. But the house itself is about 5,000 finished square foot. Of course, we're asking $750,000 for it. But it is absolutely a stunning property. And if you're seeing where we're talking about, you've drove by and seen the property.
I know I have. It's just not coming to mind.
It's when you come back from Owensboro, you get in Rio, you make a left like you're going back towards Evansville.
Yes.
On the left. As you get out of Rio, there you'll see the fountain out front.
Okay.
Brick home sits on the back of the property. Absolutely stunning.
I'll tell you in my opinion, one of the most impressive things, or one of the most impressive, you go up to the gate. It's a private custom gate. And, of course, I have a remote control, being a listing agent. But you hit the remote, and the gate slowly opens. You pull in, you drive past the lake, and there's a circle driveway right in front of the house. And it's just,
oh, wow.
I mean, you feel like you're on top of the world when you pull into this property. And it's awesome when you're inside, letting clients in. I mean, it just makes you feel like $1 million.
So has Charlie written his offer on the house yet?
I'm waiting on it.
Thank goodness Bobby just told me we got 2 minutes left, so I don't have time to do that yet.
Get you out of that one, doesn't it?
But, okay, Chris, again, how can people get a hold of you?
I can be easily reached on my cell phone at 812-660-2651.
I thought you were going to say 666 for a minute.
No, I steered away from that number. It was given to me as an option, but I'm a good guy.
He really is a good guy. He really is.
Chris has one of my favorite email addresses, though. Give him your email address.
My email address is holleratharney, HOLLERATHARNEY at kw.com.
So just remember to holler at Harney. You're Chris Harney. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Charlie.
Appreciate it. And Chris really is. I mean, he comes across that way, but I've known Chris for a while. He's a really, really great guy. If you got a property down that area, give Chris a call, because Chris is an honest guy. He'll do you a good job. But real quick, before we got about a minute or so, I also want to talk about one of the things, as some of you listen to, I've got a team that does residential, but I've got a commercial team also. Something that we're getting tremendous calls for are apartment complexes now. We're in need of apartment complexes in the Evansville, Henderson, Owensboro area. We've got clients from all over the country that like to invest here. Got a large client base of that. So give me a call at 812-499-7758. We'll come out and give you a free broker opinion of value on that property. Also, we got a great financing source now through Waterstone Mortgage, actually for commercial. And Bobby's telling me to wrap it up. So, Evie, have a great week.
You do the same.
And for Evie Barr, Chris Harney's, Charlie Butler saying have a great week.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.